in the last stream, we were working on setting up a ton of new hopping ultra botany pots over in our new compact machine, allowing us to grow a ton of the resources that up until now we had been getting via the sifting of the different tiers of organic matter that we've been making throughout the entirety of the pack. And between streams, I've mostly gone ahead and tweaked this setup ever so slightly to make sure that things are running smoothly. I've added all of the seeds to the trash can whitelists. I've fixed the remembering slots in here. I didn't do that last time, and so we ended up with seeds and essence and all kinds of fertilizer in the inventory slot. That has now been fixed. Everything, I believe, is running at full capacity, and so now if we head back and we look in our system, we should have a ton of a bunch of different resources, including Insanium Essence. We've managed to acquire 66 Insanium Essence since the end of the last stream. I did also go through and make sure that every single one of these drawers had a void upgrade in it, because earlier today when I came on the server, both of my drives were completely full because not all of the drawers had void upgrades, and so some of the items were overflowing into the disk drives here, which is not catastrophic, but it's not great. And so I took all those items out, put them back into their respective drawers, and made sure that every single drawer has a void upgrade. I also added a new drawer for netherite, and I've also gone ahead and torn down everything that is no longer needed, and our platform is now so much bigger, it's so much more spacious. In fact, at some point soon, we could potentially look at making the island a little bit smaller again, because I don't really foresee us needing that much space going forward. As we press forward here, when we get even more resources, we can start to tear down even more of what is here. The only reason that this is still here is that the first thing that we're going to work on in today's stream is the Ender Matter questline. Now, in order to get this going, we do need to sift some Ender Organic Matter. Ender Organic Matter, much like all of the previous tiers of Organic Matter, is made with Ender Organic Fluid, which requires Nether Organic Fluid, Colorful Organic Fluid, Skulking Organic Fluid, Improved Organic Fluid, and Lava, which is why I've kept this line here, which goes from Lava all the way through to the Nether Organic Fluid, intact. We're going to use this to get the End Organic Fluid. But before we do that, there are a few things we need to do. The first thing we need to do is move this compact machine, but the first thing that we need to do is we need to start crafting a ton more dimensional shards, because as we saw at the end of the last episode, the way that we get endstone, at least until we have the ability to make endstone seeds, is we craft endstone pebbles in a fluid encapsulator with resonant ender. And this resonant ender is made in a magma crucible by melting down infused ender pearls, which in turn are crafted with a ton of dimensional shards. And so I think the first thing that we're going to do here is bookmark the recipe again for dimensional shards, and then grab a stack of each item required. Thankfully, as of last stream, we are now growing every single item on this list apart from echo shards, and I believe that, yeah, we've got 3,230 echo shards. So we're not really going to run into an echo shard problem, I don't think, anytime soon. Where is my silicon? There it is. Where are my prismarine crystals? What else are we missing? We're just missing lapis and inferium essence. Now, of course, we don't have any inferium essence, but as we saw in the last stream, we can now request that inferium essence be crafted for us, and ideally that'll be done, look at that, extraordinarily quickly. And so all we should have to do is drop a stack of echo shards in the center wooden hopper, and then a stack of every other item in all of the other wooden hoppers. And then whilst we work on finishing up my little move over here, we should slowly but surely generate 6 stacks of dimensional shards, which might be enough to get us through to endstone seeds, but even if it's not, it should be easy enough for us to get even more of these in the future. What am I missing? Did I not get nether quartz? I didn't. And that's working. Nice. While we wait for that to do its thing, over here we of course have our lava generation. This is still required, and in fact, I appear to have accidentally broken some of the fluid pipes here. That shouldn't be a problem. We are going to have to redo the filters, though, to make sure that that the right liquids get extracted. And then the lava, this one, yeah, I remember this. This was a little janky. We'll do this, and then I guess we can just put this, like, here. And now we just got to make sure that the tunnel actually works, which it might do. Boom. And yeah, we should be good to go there. Let me quickly grab a bucket of improved organic fluid, and then let's grab a couple of ultimate pipe upgrades. We'll set all of these to extract. We'll make sure they all have an ultimate pipe upgrade, and of course, we'll make sure that they all have the improved organic fluid on their filter to make sure that we don't pull out any lava that we don't want to extract. So now, over here, we need to get the end organic fluid. And as we just saw, for that, we're going to need two machines. We're going to need a fluid encapsulator, which does look fairly easy. We need 2 copper gears, a redstone flux coil, easy enough, a regular Minecraft bucket, 2 prosperity ingots, that is fine. We should still have a ton of prosperity shards. Of course, we do need a machine frame. We can request our system make one of those for us, and then it looks like we need 2 copper gears. And continuing on with the trend from the last episode, I do think it's going to be in our best interest to just keep teaching our system how to make all of the different things that we need a lot of in the pack. And so we'll go ahead and request 2 copper gears as well. Start. We then do also need a magma crucible. Thankfully, we do already have one of those lying around, and so we'll just steal this one. And again, none of this is really going to be too permanent because, of course, once we have enough endstone to make the first endstone seed, we can then start growing endstone, and from that point on, we're no longer going to need the infused ender pearls. Although, I don't really know if it's going to be necessary for us to get endstone seeds, because the ender matter here, when we sift it, gives us 5 things. It gives us chorus fruit, it gives us shulker shells, it gives us platinum, lead, and uranium. Once we get 4 uranium, 4 lead, and 4 platinum, we can then make the lead, platinum, and uranium seeds, so we don't need to sift for those anymore. And then I'm not quite sure if we actually need that much chorus fruit or that many shulker shells. And so I think it's quite possible that we could just try and get enough ender organic matter to make 4 of each of the respective ingots. And then once we have those ingots, just stop sifting the endstone altogether and just start growing those ingots. And at that point, move forward into the Mekanism questline. Either way, we can cross that bridge when we get to it. The fluid encapsulator is done. Let's quickly go ahead and extend out our machine line here. At least 2 more. We'll have the fluid encapsulator and the magma crucible. The fluid encapsulator will set to output on the right, input from the top. The magma crucible will set to input from the left, and I guess also output to the top. And then with that, we should be basically good to go. We can go and grab some of our dimensional shards. We got a ton of those already, which is fantastic. We should already have a bunch of ender pearls lying around, and so it's going to be very easy for us to make a stack of infused ender pearls. At which point, we can start dropping those in our fluid encapsulator. This is going to be... Oh, no, it's the other way around. That is my bad. We want the fluid encapsulator here, and the magma crucible here. We want to make sure this is set to output on the right and input on the top, and then we want you over here to be input on the left and output on the top. There we go. Perfect. So we'll put the ender pearls in here. We can also get a hopper of some persuasion to feed in automatically to the magma crucible, like so. And then we can just go ahead and put a regular old Minecraft chest, or in fact, actually, we can just set the back here to output and then add to our pre-existing line of item pipes, like so, so that all of the endstone that we get goes directly back around into the system. So that is working, and in fact, I think the only thing that we need to do now is get the pebbles into the fluid encapsulator. Look at that, and that's actually pretty fast as well. I thought it would be a lot slower than it is, but that's also fine. We'll drop in some of those stone pebbles. Those are going to slowly but surely produce endstone for us, and then from there, all we have to do is craft that up into actual endstone. Let's put this here just to make sure we complete the quest, and then we'll do this as well. Fantastic. And then after that, we just need to hammer this and then sift it, right? We could automate this. We could put down an automatic hammer, but I don't even know if we're going to need it. Let's go ahead and make a netherite hammer, just because why not? We've got the netherite, we might as well. And then I don't think it's going to take that much endstone to get us what we're going to need here. So let's put that in here. That's going to slowly but surely sift into this chest. I did get rid of the simple storage network in its entirety between streams, and so now there are just a few little importers left hanging around, but most, if not all, of the network cable under here is gone, and so at some point we could also look at trying to fix some of the spaghetti pipage that we have underneath the platform there. But here is the Ender Transformation Powder. Now all we need to do is get some Ender Organic Fluid, which requires an infused Ender block. That should be fine. Of course, again, we are going to need even more dimensional shards. We do have a few, but I think we might need more. And of course, if we want to make anything more from the Flux Networks mod, which chat has pointed out we've not completed the quests for because we had our system do all of the crafting for us in the last stream. But if we want to do anything extra from Flux Networks, we're of course going to need more dimensional shards for that as well. And so once again, we'll do diamonds, emeralds, lapis, nether quartz, silicon, prismarine crystals, and glowstone, along with the echo shards. And then we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the inferior essence. 64, start, and start. And 9. Nice. Okay, so while that's working on that, back over here, this is chugging along quite nicely. Make sure the top there is set to input Isaac, otherwise that is not going to work. Fantastic. Do we have what it takes to make the infused Ender block? I think the answer is definitely yes. We'll make 2 more infused Ender pearls. And then I assume the recipe for an infused diamond looks something like this. It totally does. Fantastic. Boom, boom. We then need 5 endstone to make that work. That is not going to be a problem. There is our infused endstone. Let's go ahead and grab one of our many barrels that we decommissioned between streams. We'll drop that down over here, I think, for the time being. Like that. Again, we'll make sure this here is set to extract just as soon as we can filter for the nether organic fluid. So we'll take this out. We'll set you to extract. What we'll do is we'll get rid of this temporarily. We'll then set this to extract. We'll put the pipe upgrade in. We'll add, or we'll remove the tin and the copper from the filter. We'll add the nether organic fluid to the filter. We'll then make sure that this is actually a fluid pipe and not an item pipe, because as you'll know, if you've been following along, fluids are not items. Let's do one of these, and I think we should be good to go. That's going to transform into the Ender matter, and then as soon as that's done, we can do the same kind of deal here, where we take a hopper, we can place that hopper down like this, and then we just need to put the Ender transformation powder into the hopper. That's going to produce the Ender organic matter, and although it's going to look janky as heck, we can then do something like this, and that should just work. That should start sifting the Ender organic matter, and it shouldn't take us too long. With a 75% chance, we might only need maybe 5 or 6 Ender organic matter before we have enough lead, platinum, and uranium pieces to just get the seeds going. We've already got 144 endstone pieces here, and so I think we are actually good to go. I'm just going to turn this off. I don't think we need any more of this to keep going. We've already got a ton of extra resident ender in the fluid encapsulator there, so let's just get a bunch of endstone. Let's go ahead and, for now, just manually place that down using our infinity wand. And then manually hammer that with our netherite hammer. Drop that into the old flux sieve. Once again, we seem to be having a similar problem with this pack, where for whatever reason, the regular Minecraft hoppers just don't seem to do what they're supposed to do. And so it might be the case again that we need another wooden hopper to make this work. That worked. Let's see if it works on the next one. For the time being, I'm going to take out the crushed endstone, because I honestly think that the 11 Ender transformation powder that we already have might just do the trick. We can, of course, use our time in a bottle here to make this even faster, and the same is true here as well. We can make that even faster, and if we need to, we can make that faster, and this faster, and this faster, and just try and get the whole line going a little bit quicker. But already we have 1 platinum piece. I am now realizing that, of course, we do need more than 1 platinum ingot. This should get us 2 platinum ingots if we process it correctly. Never mind. It looks like you only get 1 there. That's fine. And so, yeah, no, my math was off there. I think we are going to need a bit more in the way of Ender transformation powder, but I think the 32 that we have here should be more than enough. All right, and not too long later, we'll put the rest of the Ender transformation powder in there. That's going to slowly but surely produce us more shulker shells and chorus fruit, just on the off chance that we need them. But and also we'll take these out just so that the quest triggers there, which it has. Fantastic. But here we have enough lead pieces to make a lead seed. We've got enough of the platinum pieces to make a platinum seed, and we have enough uranium pieces to make a uranium seed as well. And so, yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter how we smelt these. It looks like a regular furnace gives us just as many as an induction smelter or a redstone furnace. And so we'll just drop all of these in here. I'm going to turn auto sort off temporarily just so I can put all three of these in. We can then turn auto sort back on. And yeah, let's go for the uranium seed, the platinum seed, and the lead seed. Each one of those is going to need a seed base. So we'll take 3 of those. Over here, this is done. Fantastic. Let's put the seed bases in like that. Each one of these is a different tier. So we need 4 Supremium, 4 of the blue essence, whose name I always forget. It's Imperium. So we need 4 Imperium. We need 4 Supremium. We don't have that much Supremium, but we can request 2 more and start. Fantastic. Let's take 4 of those. And then we also need 4 Tertium. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we should be good to go. We'll take the lead. We'll take the uranium. And we'll take the platinum. And there we go. Lead seed, platinum seed, and uranium seed. And so I think that we now no longer need the Ender organic matter sifting setup. I don't think any of that is required. We could look at getting some chorus flour if we need it at some point in the future. And so now I think, chat, that there is 1 more organic matter to go. 2 more organic matters to go. Okay. So the next organic matter is this one here, cognizant organic matter. The cognizant organic matter does require cognizant organic fluid, which you get the whole idea. It requires everything as well on the way back, the whole line of organic fluid. So we are still going to have to leave this little setup here for now. But if we request another crafter, we could quickly look at setting up a 3rd or 4th crafter over in our compact machine to start adding these uranium, platinum, and lead seeds, because if I'm not mistaken, they are required. Like, we need lead, we need platinum, we need uranium in order to progress forward in the pack here. Yeah, we need lead here for the Enderium, and then once we have the Enderium, the steel casing requires steel and Enderium. Interesting. And then for the metallurgic infuser, we need 2 steel casings, 4 iron ingots, 2 furnaces, and 1 Enderium ingot. Real quick, steel ingots. It does say in the quest here, steel can be made using a thermal pyrolyzer to make coal coke. Using coal coke and iron ingots will make the steel ingots. Okay, so real quick, what I might do then, before we go set up this new crafter, is I might look at getting a pyrolyzer, which is another machine from thermal expansion, which doesn't seem too expensive. We don't have any blaze rods. We do not. So we might have to fight another blaze, like spawn one in with the blaze doll and see if we can get that to work. Everything else here should be doable. You know what? Let's just go ahead and teach the system how to make those redstone flux coils so that we don't have to keep manually crafting them. And could drop that in over here. Along the same lines, we'll do that with Constantan gears as well. And I think going even further, I think our system currently doesn't know how to make Constantan, but that is fine. We can teach that as well. The gear is going to go in there, and then the alloy is going to go in here. Fantastic. So can I request most of the stuff? I can. Start, and start. So let's get another one of our trusty barrels out. Let's get a bucket of lava. We do have this tank here full of lava from Mekanism. And then if we do this and this, we should have the ability to make a blaze doll. We do. And then just like we did a few episodes back, chat, now we just need to see if we can't get 1 blaze rod, which might take a couple of dolls here. I'm not entirely certain. Hopefully it doesn't take too many. The knockback on this sword is less than ideal. Oh, that's not what I want to hit. And look at that, we got a blaze rod. Nice. That is some good luck right there. Can we make the pyrolyzer? We can. Fantastic. And then I think that the steel recipe that Ben is talking about here is an induction smelter recipe. It is. You can put an iron ingot and a coke into the induction smelter and that will make steel. So let's go ahead and continue our conga line of machines here with the pyrolyzer. And then if we want to make coal coke using the pyrolyzer, we just have to put regular coal into it. That is fine. We've got almost 50,000 coal in the system, so we'll drop that in. That's going to slowly, very slowly, but surely make us some coke. Of course, we can take our integral component and slam that in there to make it a tiny bit faster. We could also look at making some flux linkage amplifiers. These increase the processing speed of a given machine, but they do require lead, which we currently don't have a decent amount of. And so I guess for now, we will leave this here. I don't know if we're going to need more than a stack of steel, although it does take 6 steel per steel casing, and then we need 2 steel casings for just the metallurgic infuser. But I think that might be fine. Yeah, okay, that should be fine. While we wait for that, let me quickly head on through to our compact machine, and let's get another line of botany pots going. Somebody in the Twitch chat does make a good point here. We do have the elevator mod installed in the pack, and so if we were to quickly get a stack of wool from our string and craft 2 elevators, that's going to alleviate some of the problems in this compact machine that we were experiencing in the last stream, namely getting up to this higher level. If we just place down an elevator, let's say right about here, we can then place another elevator directly above that elevator. So if we place this all the way up, let's say right about here, we can then get rid of the cobblestone, and now going forward, we can just press shift to get easily up and down like that. We still are going to have to use cobblestone or things like cobblestone. Also, if you right-click an elevator block, it will look like the block that you right-clicked it with, but we could always do something like this. It doesn't look the best, but it does give us the ability to easily walk around and check on all of our pots as and when we need to. So there we have it. We have our platinum, our lead, and our uranium up at the top there, and we have the seeds growing in our compact machine. Back over here, we have a stack of cook, and so if we grab a stack of iron, and we drop both those in here, of course, along with that universal integral component, we can start to slowly but surely produce some steel, and of course, you saw this one coming. We can take our steel, and we can make a steel seed. This guy right here, tier 4, so we're going to need some more of the Imperium. And there we go, steel is online. So we've made the steel seed, we've added that to the new line of machines. Real quick, let's teach our system how to make the tier 5 storage upgrades. These ones right here, we'll encode those, and then we'll request 4 more void upgrades. Actually, never mind, we have 4 void upgrades, perfect. And we'll request 4 of those storage upgrades as well, just to make sure that we have enough space for a ton of the uranium, the steel, the lead, and the platinum. And then we'll also make sure that we put void upgrades on all those as well, so that once we do get to the, I think it's like 32,000 or something, of each of those, that we then just start deleting any excess, and nothing else makes its way in. And chat is right, we have not locked the netherite drawer. That is fine. Cool. So now that that is taken care of, we can start looking at the mechanism quest line. And look at that, we got a ton of stuff for claiming our quest there. That is fine. Let's dump basically everything here into the system, and let's take a look at mechanism. So step 1 is to make an ingot that's not from mechanism, it's from thermal expansion. This is the enderium ingot that requires ender pearls, lead, and diamond dust. And you guessed it, I do think it's going to be in our best interest to teach the system how to make this. So we'll shift this recipe in. It's going to take 3 lead ingots, 1 diamond dust, and 1 ender pearl encode. The diamond dust we are going to also have to teach in the pulverizer. That is fine. Let's put one of those in here, the other one in here, and then can I request like 32 enderium? I can. Start. We'll make the pulverizer a little faster because I don't think it currently has an integral component, and then we'll also go ahead and make this faster just because the recipe for the enderium is quite slow just by default. While we wait for that, we should then be able to craft our first steel casing. As we saw earlier, we are going to need 2 to make the metallurgic infuser. And boom, there's our metallurgic infuser. Now, our wall of machines is getting quite long here, but I also don't know if we need a lot of this setup anymore. Like, I don't know if we need this cobblestone generator making gravel, sand, and dust. We do occasionally use the dust to make a bunch of clay, which does prove to be quite useful, but I don't really think we necessarily need it that much. Although at the same time, I don't know if we're going to need the pyrolyzer going forward, and so we could potentially just replace the pyrolyzer with the metallurgic infuser, like this. Now, the reason that we need the metallurgic infuser, and by the looks of it, I have messed up here. We need to actually hold a steel casing to get the quest to complete. And apparently, oh, I also need to hold an enderium. This is the problem you run into when you try and automate everything too fast. Let's also pick this up as well to make sure we actually get the quest completion. There we go. So this is required to make osmium. Osmium is made in the metallurgical infuser with platinum and gold. So we need gold and we need platinum. Now, I don't know if I can just put gold in like this. I can't. Interesting. So the gold does have to be enriched before we can... Oh, it can be gold dust. Interesting. I was going to say we could make an enrichment chamber, and it looks like we totally can. We need 2 basic control circuits, 4 redstone, and 2 iron ingots, along with yet another steel casing. The only thing we're missing there is the 2 basic control circuits. These, again, are also made in the metallurgical infuser with osmium. Oh, no, but we need osmium. That's what we're making. Okay, so never mind. In that case, to start with here, we are going to have to just pulverize some gold. That's going to get us gold dust. We can then use the gold dust in the metallurgical infuser to get us our first bits of osmium. As with all the machines, we can make this a tiny bit faster. We do still have 4.5 hours in our time in a bottle, and so that's going to slowly but surely get there. Is it 4 gold dust per osmium? That's a little expensive, but nothing we can't handle. And of course, you know where we're going. Once you have 4 osmium, we can make the osmium seed. This one is Imperium. Imperium, let's go ahead and grab some of that. We need a bit more. That's fine. Let's request it and start. And at this point, I do feel like we should probably just go ahead and craft like a stack of prosperity seed bases if we can. 52 seems like it should be fine. I don't foresee us needing more than 52 more seeds before the end of the pack, but who knows? We seem to be making them at record pace. Once we have the osmium, we can then go down to the osmium compressor. And actually, yeah, the Twitch chat makes a good point here in that Enderium also has the ability to be made into a seed. We do need to have some more supremium here, but we've got just so much insanium that that's not going to be a problem for us. Start and start. Give me 1 more of those. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. But the osmium compressor is made up of infused alloys, which are made in the metallurgical infuser with redstone and iron, advanced circuits, which are made with the basic circuits we saw before, and the infused alloys that we just looked at. This seems very straightforward. Once we have the osmium compressor, we can make refined glowstone ingots and refined obsidian ingots, which in this pack are used as a gateway into the next stage of mystical agriculture with the awakening altar, which I think is kind of like this altar, but different. So let's go and get the Enderium and osmium added to our seed setup. And once again, Enderium and osmium are now part of the ever-growing pack of ingots that we are growing. So now the osmium compressor, we need some of the osmium that we are getting. We need quite a bit of redstone, that is fine. And we're also going to need some iron as well. So if we put some redstone in on the left slot here, actually we can't do that just yet because we have some gold left in here. That is what this big dump button is for. You click dump and it will get rid of what is in this left-hand slot. And so we can put in some redstone, we can then place in some osmium, and that's going to make us the basic control circuits. We need 2 of those in order to make 2 advanced control circuits, and then we need 8 infused alloys. So 8 iron ingots and 8 millibuckets of redstone. That is fine. Let's do 1 of these. 4 of those is fine. Then let's put in the iron. That's a lot of redstone. Not really a massive deal if we waste some. We do have 80,000 redstone lying around. And unlike the thermal expansion machines, which are limited on how much power you can insert to the machine, the mechanism machines are not. So these are a lot easier to speed up with the time in a bottle. We'll leave that going. We're going to need more infused alloy, I'm sure, at some point in the future. For now, though, we can make 2 of these advanced circuits, like so. And then from there, we can make ourselves 2 more iron buckets of all things and an osmium compressor. Nice. We'll drop that down somewhere along this line of machines. It's going to look real janky, but I think what I might do is just place it down behind this guy for the time being, like that. And then the things we need to make here are refined glowstone. This is made in the osmium compressor with osmium and glowstone. Again, we need 4 of those. And refined obsidian, which is made in a very similar way. It is osmium and then refined obsidian dust. This one's a little trickier. It requires obsidian dust and diamond in the metallurgical infuser, and the obsidian dust you make in an enrichment chamber. So we are going to have to make that enrichment chamber after all, which should be fine. We did make some extra circuits, and so boom, the enrichment chamber is done. Let's continue to add to this monstrosity. I realize this energy pipe here is unnecessary because there's one there, but let's get you out of the way. There we go. Let's do this. and let's make sure that this doesn't connect because we don't really want any cobblestone in here. So now we need to get obsidian, which we have 512 of, the maximum that we can currently hold. We'll let that break itself down. While we wait for that to break itself down, let's grab some glowstone and some osmium, and we'll drop both of those into the osmium compressor. Boom and boom. Give that a little bit of an accelerate. And once it is done with 4, we can take that out. Fantastic. Over here, 4, I think, again, is going to be just fine. We can take some diamonds. I do believe that you can't just put diamonds in on their own. Yeah, you can't. These also have to go through the enrichment chamber. Again, not going to be a problem. Make that a bit faster. I think 1 enriched diamond might actually do it here. And there we go, 4 refined obsidian dust. Drop that in, accelerate that as well. Make sure we have more osmium in just for when it's needed. And boom, 4 refined obsidian ingots and another chapter complete. Now we just need to go ahead and make, you guessed it, a refined glowstone seed and a refined obsidian seed, both of which are tier 4, and therefore both of which require Imperium. Alright, so I have had to somewhat jankily add 1 more hopping botany pot to this line, because our crafters can do 8 crafts, and we only had 1 hopping botany pot left for the refined glowstone, and of course we needed 1 for the refined obsidian, so I've added a new one onto the end, which is fine for the crafter. It's just a little unsymmetrical for the room at large, although I guess going forward we could add another one to this crafter, and I think that's it. I think this one is full because of the prismarine, and the one at the back is full because of the nether star. But if we need to add 1 more seed, we can always add it to the end of this line here before we have to make yet another crafter. Either way, let's head back and real quick drop down the final. I say final. We might have to make get more of these today, but let's drop down 2 more compacting drawers. These do quite nicely fill the space on our wall. I did preemptively get the storage and void upgrades for these. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Do we have any of the refined obsidian and glowstone? We do not. But as those come in, they should just fill those 2 drawers because they're not currently locked. And so everything should just work. Chat is, of course, correct in that currently I have left the crafter turned off. So I need to make sure this is set to ignored. There we go. And as we head back, we should see that both of those drawers have filled up with their respective ingots. They have. Fantastic. Let's lock you and let's lock you. All right. So now we need to move on to the Awakened Essence questline. Here, this starts with the Awakened Altar. It says, requires awakened pedestals and essence vessels around it. Place the altar to see where the pedestals and vessels are placed. The altar can be used to make high-end items. So, Awakened. The Awakened Altar requires 3 refined glowstone, 1 refined obsidian, and 3 soul stone. The soul stone is made by smelting cobbled soulstone, which is cobblestone and soul dust. Let's go ahead. We'll get a stack of that stuff. We've got a ton of cobblestone and a ton of soul dust. I don't know if we're going to need more than 3, but just on the off chance that we do, let's go ahead and do this. Let's also clear our inventory out just a little bit. We've got a lot of stuff in here that we don't need to be carrying around with us. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we need 4 of each of these. So 4 essence vessels and 4 awakened pedestals. The awakened pedestals do require yet more soulstone. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the essence vessels require a similar recipe, but with glass. We do have glass, unless it needs to... Actually, we don't have glass. Never mind. Ignore me, but we can request glass. That is fine. Let's do one of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I think it's basically the same... Oops. There we go. I think it's basically the same as this altar right here. So, let's go find some space. If we put the altar down in the middle, yeah, we just need 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on the corners, we do 1, 2, 3, 4. So, if I'm not mistaken, this works in kind of the same way as our other altar, in that there's no wireless transmitter in range, really? Oh, our power is out. That is less than ideal. This guy is fully powered up. It shouldn't be a huge problem. Yeah, okay, if we do this, we can get back online temporarily. We talked before about making these magmatic dynamos. Let me request a machine frame, and then let's get... Do we have any Invar in the system? We do. Let's quickly get at least one Invar gear down. Boom. And boom. I think I'm just going to move this down by one to here. That's still set up for us. Fantastic. Pass me an energy pipe. There we go. And let's set that to extract. Fantastic. We then just need a fluid pipe and we're back online. So that's going to produce us an extra 40 redstone flux per tick, which is not much, but might be enough to keep us going for the time being. Although we are now at the point where we should be able to make integral components. These ones right here. There are other tiers of integral component, but we should now be able to make the highest tier. It requires enderium, lumium, hardened glass, which is made from, I believe, glass, obsidian, and nether quartz. Yeah, this should be fine if we teach our system how to make hardened glass in code, and we teach it how to make the final product in code, and we teach it how to make the lumium gears without the gear working die in code. Lumium itself is an alloy much like the enderium. It's made with tin, silver, and glowstone in code. The reinforced integral component is very similar. It does require signalum gears, which is the third and final alloy of the set. This one is also made in the induction smelter with copper, silver, and redstone in code. And then we also need the hardened integral component in code. And I don't know if our system knows how to make Invar. I don't think it does. I'm pretty sure it doesn't know how to make gold gears either, so let's teach it one of those. But I think if we can get this hodgepodge of patterns into the right spaces, we should just be able to request the integral components. They're a little bit of an expensive craft, but I think it is worth doing, and I think doing it like this is the faster way of doing it. So can I request one of you? I can. It's probably going to take about 40 years to make that happen, but that's fine. Once it's ready, we can go ahead and add that to our magmatic dynamo, and that's going to start producing even more power. Back over here, I believe that this works in much the same way as the regular altar, but half of the altars are, of course, essence vessels. For these, we can actually place essence into the vessel. For example, right here, we need to craft cognizant dust. That's the next quest on the list. This is crafted with 4 tertium essence, 1 dust, and then 8 earth, 8 air, 8 fire, and 8 water essence. And so what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to get fire, earth, air, and water seeds, which I don't think are too difficult to make. I think each one of these might require the agglomeratio. So the fire seed, for example, is 4 fire agglomeratio, 4 inferium essence, and a prosperity seed base. The fire agglomeratio is made with lava, gravel, dirt, and clay. That seems fine. Let's also do air seeds. We're going to do earth seeds, and we're going to do water seeds. And each one of these has their own agglomeratio. The air agglomeratio is easy enough. We do need 4 of those, though. So can we make 3 more bottles? We totally can. And then can we do 2, 3, 4? We can. Fantastic. Earth is easy enough, although it does require grass, which we actually currently do not have. We'll come back to that one. Water is also easy enough. We are going to have to continually fill up the bucket here, but getting 4 water agglomeratio is going to be very easy for us. And then we saw fire a moment ago. It's basically the same thing again, but with lava instead of water. Again, not going to be a problem for us. We should have our ender tank over here full of lava that we can tap into. We totally do. Fantastic. So it looks like we can get grass seeds from Ex Nihilo by placing seagrass on top of the summoning altar. I don't know if we still have the summoning altar. I think our summoning altar is down in a deep, dark cave somewhere. Thankfully, I don't recall this being too expensive. It wasn't. Fantastic. So can I just place that down and place a seagrass on it? I totally can. And then I guess from there, we can just get some dirt. And if we right-click the grass seed onto the dirt and then bone meal said grass, we can then shear that grass. And we should be able to get this agglomeration going right. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Nice. And then do we have what it takes for 1, 2, 3, 4. We do. Nice. Okay, so we have all of the agglomeratios. Let's go ahead and make all of the seeds. All right. Air, earth, water, fire. So we need to go and put all of those into botany pots. I have requested that our system make us 4 more ultra hopping botany pots. Now, unlike the other essences, we don't want these essences to be crafted into anything automatically. We just want these to come back to us in essence form. And so it's going to be a little awkward, but we're probably going to have to get another 2x2 drawer. Most of the drawers that we already have in here are full of stuff, so I'll just make some new ones. We'll put that down like here for now. That does nice to connect up all of the farm crops that we currently have in drawers as well. And then we'll allocate, I will go ahead and lock that actually so it doesn't fill up with stuff like this, but we'll lock that and we'll allocate that to fire, water, earth, and air essence. That is pretty good for us though, because it means that all we need to do is just put these down with the correct farmland. Now, I feel like we might as well just go ahead and make, I was going to say Insanium farmland, but you know what? I'm going to temper things back just a little bit because I have a feeling that fairly soon we're going to need a lot more Insanium because the creative essence, I think, is quite expensive. So let's just do 1, 2, 3, 4 Supremium, and then let's get that over in here. This one can go down, I think, on the bottom level. So like right here. We've got our ender chest. I think what we can probably do then is just have... It's going to be a little awkward. But I think we could maybe just do 1, 2, obviously disconnect that. 3, 4, again, disconnect that, and then just have these pump down into here. The trouble that we run into is we don't want any of the seeds, any of the excess seeds to make their way in here, if at all possible. Although, I think it's going to be a janky solution. But what else is new? What we could potentially do over here is grab yet another trash can and yet another pipe upgrade. And then just place this down above the ender chest on this side of the universe. So if we were to put down the pipe like this and then the trash can like this, I'm gonna have to jump down to make that happen, but if we put the trash can down there like that, we could then set this to whitelist, and then as we get the stuff we don't want, like the fertilizer, we can just add that to the trash can's whitelist, like so. And then as the ender chest fills up, we can do the same thing with fire seeds, air seeds, water seeds, and earth seeds, and that should just be good to go. So now as soon as we get those first essences in, we can add them to their drawer, and then from there we can take those essences and place them into the essence vessels. Now, we do need 8 of each to make 4 cognizant dust, and then the cognizant dust can be used to make cognizant organic matter. This requires a block of refined obsidian. That is not going to be a problem for us. Let's do one of those. Let's grab a stone barrel, and then let's get that down over here. We'll put that down, I guess, like right on the end. Like that. And then we'll get rid of this pipe. It's no longer needed. We'll drop down another fluid pipe like that. And that's going to start producing the final cognizant tier of fluid for us. And then, much like we were doing before, I guess we can just steal this hopper and place it down like that. And then once we have the cognizant dust, we can start using that to make cognizant organic matter. And then we can sift that matter in order to get, I think specifically, the creative organic spores. So the interesting thing here is that I believe the cognizant organic matter produces everything. It produces everything that we've produced up until this point. So all of the stuff that all of the other matters produced, you get from sifting cognizant organic matter. So if you didn't want to go the seed way, like I did, you could instead just use cognizant organic matter and just sift that, and that will get you everything. Chat is right in that I do need to make sure that we add a filter here for the ender organic fluid. That's fine. Do we have any essence in our ender chest? I did forget to set these to extract, which is why we don't have any of that essence yet. That is fine, and thankfully a nice quick fix. And so we should end up with a bunch of essence. It is going to go directly into the system. Like it's going to go into our disk drives initially. But if we grab all of the essences there, and look at that, it's coming in nice and fast. We can grab each one of those, and we can designate each one to a draw slot over here. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's make sure, as per usual, that we have the required upgrades. We'll take 4 void, and we'll take 4 tier 5. And then we'll do 1 and 2 like that. And then we can just go ahead and grab basically all of the essences here and just dump those directly in to the draw system. And then they should be accessible again. Nice. Yeah, just make sure they're not in the disk drive. So let's take, I don't know how much you can put in the vessel. I think we just right click and it goes in 40. Okay, so you can put 40 essence in. It actually looks kind of cool. I like the different colors that are available there. And so now we just need tertium and dust. So dust could be a problem. Tertium isn't going to be a problem. We can get really as much tertium as we like. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dust, on the other hand, we do have, but it's currently just in block form, right? We do only need the 1 dust initially. We'll drop that down like that. And as per usual, I think some form of redstone signal is required. And there we go. That should get us the cognizant dust. And then we should be able to very quickly take that and drop it in over here. That's going to get us the cognizant matter if we don't lose it to the bottom of the ocean. It would have floated back up eventually, but it's quicker for us to grab it. We can then drop that in here, and that's going to start getting us everything. This is a little unfortunate for us because all we need is the creative organic spores, because now, in order to get creative organic matter, we need 4 creative organic spores, 4 creative essence, and 1 creative essence. Different creative essences, I guess. But that's what we need to work towards. We also need an Awakened Supremium block. This is made with 40 of each, 4 cognizant dust, and an Insanium block. This is where it starts to get a little expensive on the Insanium side, because that's 9 Insanium for this recipe. Thankfully, in terms of essences, we are good to go. I want you to be water, earth, fire, and air. Looks like you can take those out as well, which is quite nice. We'll drop you down like that. And then we just need 4 of the previous dust, which of course we don't have. So let's instead quickly do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 dust. And once we have 4 more dust, 1, 2, 3, 4, with the Insanium block in the middle, and then a quick top up on all of the other essences. And boom, we have an Awakened Supremium block, which, can we craft that into Awakened Supremium Essence? We totally can. And then we need an Awakened Supremium Gemstone and an Awakened Supremium Ingot. Awakened. The Awakened Supremium Gemstone is very easy. Same recipe as before, just a regular Prosperity Gemstone, and boom. And then as for the ingot, I assume it's also, yeah, the same recipe. Boom, that is that quest complete as well. And then down here, it wants Awakened Nuggets. Easily done. And then finally, the Creative Essence. Creative Essence you can either make by compacting 64 Creative Essence, the seed essence, or you can use the infusion crafting. So 4 cognizant dust, 4 awakened supremium nuggets, and 1 insanium essence. That is fine. It means that we need to get the tertium along with 1 more regular dust, and then we need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we need to gather the 4 factions. Of course, we need water, fire, earth, and air. Doesn't matter which order these go in, I don't believe. Then we'll take those out. We'll do the same again. 1, 2... Wait, is that right? Oh, no. Then we have to go back to the original altar. That's my bad. We're going back over here now. We're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, along with 1, 2, 3, 4. And then in the middle, we just need 1 insanium. And there we go. 1 creative essence and another chapter complete. And that's really everything for the end quest line, I think, taken care of. The reactors is something that's not necessary. Like, we don't need to do this to finish the pack. I think we will set up a reactor just to get us a nice amount of power, because especially going forward into the real end quest line here, we are going to need a lot of power, because the mechanism machines required to get antimatter require a staggering amount of power. So we are definitely going to have to set up a reactor, but I believe that we are now ready to start the real end. The first quest in here is to make the creative essence seed. So we make 3 more creative essence and then make the creative seed. Once we have the creative seed, we can then use that to grow creative essence, and then use that to produce more creative essence, the item, not the essence, going forward. And of course, we can use that in order to get some of the creative organic matter. This is a combination of the actual creative essence, the essence creative essence, and the creative organic spores that we're getting over here. In fact, I do believe that we have at least one. We do already. Of course, more would be nice, and so we could definitely do with putting more cognizant dust in there. Now, that's going to get us creative organic matter, which we then sift to get creative waste. We then need to use that creative waste to make nuclear waste, and then the nuclear waste makes both plutonium and polonium, which we can use in combination to make antimatter, and also to make the polonium pellets, which are also required to make the machine that makes antimatter. So I think that next time we are almost certainly going to have to put, like, to automate the cognizant dust. So what we might want to do is put down 4 exporters, one for air, earth, fire, and water essence, so that these are always full, and then potentially look at automating the production of dust, so we can keep putting that in the middle and keep making the cognizant dust, and then automate the exporting of the tertium as well. If we can do that, we can automate the cognizant dust, and that's going to allow us to automate the creative organic spores, because it looks like we're going to need quite a few of those to get quite a lot of organic matter, to get a lot of creative waste, to make all of the nuclear waste that's going to be required to finish the pack here, because I think we're going to need quite a lot of it. We need a lot of antimatter. You'll see here that the final quest is to make one of these, I guess, because I think one will complete all 4 quests, but 1 antimatter core, which is made with 8 antimatter energy cells tier 4 and 6 antimatter circuits tier 4. And each one of those goes through an entire chain. So there's the tier 4, 3, 2, and 1. So to make one of these, you need 4 of the previous. To make one of these, you need 1 of the previous, and 1 of the previous, and 1 of the previous. And these all require a ton of mechanism in order to work. And then in terms of the antimatter cell, it all runs down a similar line and requires the antimatter pellets, which require antimatter, which is made from the polonium, which we get from the nuclear waste. So we might need a fair bit of nuclear waste. We do get 5,000 millibuckets from 1, and it is 1 millibucket of nuclear waste equals 2 millibuckets of polonium. But then you need 50 millibuckets to make a pellet. So yeah, we're probably going to need a fair amount of the creative waste. As a reward for the Chapter Challenge 7 questline chat, we only get Ultra Botany Pots and an armored jetpack. So while this is definitely doable, I don't know if it's worth doing, because I don't think any of this is really too worth it unless we really wanted this armored jetpack. But we might go back and we might look at doing that at some point in the future. But for now, let me quickly grab that integral component we requested earlier, and let's get that dropped into our magmatic dynamo. Fantastic. That's producing 160 redstone flux per tick. Nothing massive, but about a 25% bump on what we were producing at the start of the episode. Next time, we'll come back, and I think what we'll do is we will look at getting this automation up and running real fast so that we can get the cognizant dust coming in automatically, and we can start getting the creative organic spores coming in as well. Once we've got that set up, we'll leave it running, and I think we'll look at getting an extreme reactor from the Extreme Reactors mod to produce a massive amount of redstone flux. And then once we have that, we can then look at pushing forward into, HDPE sheets, into making antimatter with the supercritical phase shifter, which is the giant multi-block required to make antimatter. And then from there, chat, we're not too far away from the end of the pack, but those are problems for future Isaac. For now, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up today's stream there.